Good evening. I've been asked by a few people to give a little bit of insight into my life, really. Hope it's not too long-winded. I'll try and keep it to a reasonable time. And how I got into drinking and all this sort of thing. I had a fairly normal childhood, I believe. Started to dabble in the alcohol about the age of 15. Played in the band from school. Drank a little bit more for a bit of courage, I suppose, as you do, and we sort of going out with girls and all that sort of thing. And then just went on from there, really. By the age of about 17, I was drinking quite regularly in the pub, 4 or 5 pints a night, which wasn't excessive. It wasn't anything strong or anything like that. And then when my parents used to go away on holiday with my younger sister, I was left on my own, which I preferred. It was my choice to stay at home. And they used to make this home-brewed lager, which was quite strong. I loved the taste of it because my dad used to make it in these the old big thick glass bottles, and there's a sediment in the bottom. So to decant the lager from the bottle into this great big jug, like a 4 pint jug. So I used to just sit at night and have a few of them. And I'd seem to build up this sort of tolerance. So when a few of my mates came round, we used to have a few of those, and by about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they were staggering around, and I was thinking, God, I'm ready to go for a drink, for a pint. Anyway, I was doing quite well. I was still keeping quite fit. A really good job, and then at 21, I decided to join the police force, police service. My dad had been a local policeman in the northeast, but I ended up in London, South London initially, and then Central London. All this time I was drinking, but I was still young and fit. It didn't seem to have much effect on me, really. And I drank because I liked the taste. It just became normal to me to drink every day, every night. I never got drunk. I never felt out of control. I just used to think, well, I quite like this, really. Felt a bit of a buzz. Rarely got any hangovers. I was just, it's easy when you're young. Everything's easy, isn't it? You bounce back much more quickly. So from there, I got married. I sort of drifted into my marriage. That's a different story. I didn't have any children for a long while, both working quite long hours, different parts of London. And I used to socialise with the guys and girls I used to work with, mainly in central London, actually, which, as you know, is busy. Plenty of bars, restaurants, always somewhere to have a drink. 24 hours a day, work shifts. So after a lot of shifts, we used to go to the pub. Even after nights, the bars open in the morning for shift workers, that sort of thing. Maybe have 3 or 4 drinks then, get the underground back, home, have a bite to eat, get to bed. It's just really well, really well. In fact, I was just talking to my girlfriend earlier about this. The only thing I miss about drinking is getting to sleep, although you don't sleep properly. Hey, moving on from there, got a bit of promotion. I was in the West End, as I said, still drinking heavily. Marriage wasn't the best. However, there was no excuse for my drinking. It just continued at a steady rate, I thought. It was quite normal for me to go on late, come back after having 2 or 3 pints in the West End and having a few more in the local pub. That was just normal. I even just put a couple of cans of beer in my pocket. I took the dog for a walk. That was about midnight, 1 o'clock. Used to sit up about 3, then get up again, 10 o'clock in the morning, do another late shift. And the same thing would happen on each shift would be the similar sort of pattern, but different times of the day. But I very rarely missed a drinking day. I didn't go 24 hours without a drink, or very rarely. But I never thought I was doing my body any harm because there was this sort of attitude, well, it's just lager. It's mainly water. It'll flush your system out. On reflection, it was the wrong advice that I took. However, I didn't have any major health issues, to be fair. Got a bit tired now and again. And then I started to feel a little bit more unwell, I think in my early 30s. By the time my daughter was born, more pressure on the family. I was still working in central London at the time. About an hour and a half commute out of the side. And then I started to feel myself maybe not performing too well sometimes. I still carried out my duties very well. And I was all thought, oh, that wasn't a problem. But a lot of people around me drank as well. There seemed to be a bit of a culture. But not only that, where I used to live in Essex, in the Ebbing Forest, there was a local pub there, and there was people from all disciplines: solicitors, accountants, builders, market trade people, everybody. We all had a drink. It wasn't unusual. It's so normalised now, isn't it? Even so, basically, that was the pattern. Just normal. When I thought it was normal drink, I didn't drink any wines or spirits because I thought they were going to be stronger. But as it happens, any alcohol is bad, isn't it? If it's over a sustained period and you don't get any rest from it. So it kept on that vein. Life ticked over at best, to be fair. Um, and my escapism was just to go to the pub, to do what I think was quite normal at the time. Retired later on. When I retired, I returned back up to the northeast, which was probably a big mistake because I was never really happy there as a child. Uh, and I had more time. And then I got into this habit of drinking basically every day, and met some people who used to drink like me every day. So we'd done similar jobs. We had a little bit of money, not a fortune, but we spent a lot of time in the pub. And around 2008, I decided to give up the alcohol. I'd had a couple of relapses. I'd had a couple of times I've been to see the doctor to try and get off, and they give me this Valium type pill called diazepam. We used to do it settles your system down. You can come off the drink. I'd done that, and then I'd gone back on it again. So I gave it a good go for 8 years. 8 years sober. I was living on my own then, and I found it quite not easy, but I found my life settled down a bit. I was sober. I was going to a leisure club a couple of times a day, get myself fit, having the odd holiday. But there was still then, there still is now, a stigma about alcoholism. I met a lady who I got involved with. I didn't want to tell her that I didn't drink. Now, after 8 years off, I was frightened to drink again. So she kept saying, what's your problem? What's your problem? This is what a lot of people do. You say you don't drink. You get a lot of questions. And if you're quite sensitive to that, you tend to cover up, really. You don't want to tell people, look, I've got a drink problem. I'm fine now. I'm very sober, confident now, so I don't drink. And that's it. So I slipped back into the drinking again about 2014, 15. And just having 1 or 2 cans a week or so. But after 6 months, I was really down at the bottom of the bottle. So I'd started drinking a lot more. 2014, 15. I went back to the doctors. I tried to get this diazepam again. They wouldn't give me it. I think the NHS had changed the guidelines or something. So I was told to go to like a self-help group. I went there a couple of times. That was no good. I needed the medication really. So I started to self-medicate myself with alcohol in the hope that every day would get better, but it didn't. Every day got worse, to be honest. And I was starting to lose muscle. I started to lose weight, and I had this terrible stomach problem where my stomach was sort of bloated out all the time. I was always losing weight. My arms and legs. I found this huge sort of hard stomach, which as it turned out to be was ascites fluid, which is a dreadful thing. It's some sort of protein that the liver can't deal with. Fast forward that to 2019, I got blue lighted to hospital, and so I was pretty ill with liver issues. I was in the hospital for 2 years, really, including intensive care. Eventually, they did a couple of procedures, which managed to get everything flowing again, which was good. And then about 2020, 2021, I started to walk again a little bit. Prior to that, for 2 years, I'd been in that hospital for 2 years, getting drained and all sorts of things, which I'll go into in another video because the medical side of it is long-winded. So I was basically very, very ill. Started to improve a little bit at 2021. My father passed away, and I thought I'm going to be strong. My mother, and I started to walk a little bit. Prior to that, this was a mess. Got stronger over time. About another year later, I felt a little bit better. Moved back into my old flat again. Was self-sufficient, and I've never looked back since. Whether it's I've been lucky or I've basically stuck to exactly what the doctors have told me. There's no way I'm going to drink again. Hand on heart, I don't want to drink again because it'll kill me. I know it'll kill me. It kills a lot of people every year in the UK and worldwide. It's a dangerous, dangerous drug, which is normalised and shouldn't be, really. So from 21, 22, last couple of years have been brilliant. I'm getting myself fit again with a new partner. My life's fantastic. There's no health benefit. Everything's improved. My physical health is improved. Mental health is improved. Spiritual health has improved. My financial health has improved. I feel a different person. I've got a whole new perspective on life. I feel I've got a second chance, you see. Now, I'm putting these videos out in the hope that other people will see them. And there is hope out there, because if I can do it, then you can. If anybody wants any advice, I'm not a medic, obviously. I can give advice as an alcoholic to a problem drinker, and I will do so. But if you enjoy the content of the videos, there's plenty coming out, there's plenty on the site as well. Please subscribe and leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. But there's a lot more to this than I just described, even though that's taken up about 11 minutes, because it was quite detailed in the hospital. It probably doesn't need to be actually examined with yourself, but it's something that creeps up on you. You think you're having a few pints of lager every day, suddenly you're having a bit more, then you're starting to get a bit groggy, then you're on medication. Some medication side which you relied on isn't available anymore. I try to get some off the internet, and then you self-medicate with alcohol, then it's job done, really, because the alcohol will make you lonely and it will eventually kill you. I know a few people personally who've died because they couldn't stop. You've got to want to stop. You have to have a reason to stop, and that's the main thing. There's a lot of mental issues going on as well here, because you've been so used to being part of this pub culture, because there's drink everywhere, isn't there? You've got to sort of break that cycle and learn to live a different life, really. If you want to go out, obviously I still go out. I go to the pub a lot, but I go and have a non-alcoholic beer. You can get non-alcoholic spirits, alcohol-free wine, all this sort of thing. There's so many different brands out there. There is a big movement to try and get people sober. I'm not sure how much of an impact it's got because, as I said before, it's so normalised. You can get beer 24 hours a day, anywhere from a garage, service station. So let's maybe get together and build a community here and see if we can push this sober journey, because it is wonderful if you get on it, and you'll feel better every day. Anyway, that's enough for now. I'll speak to you all soon.